Good morning, viewers. Good afternoon, viewers. Good evening, viewers. Good day, viewers. Wherever you're watching me from, wherever you're watching me, whatever time you're watching me, you're watching Future ABC Media Online TV. My name remains Adinyoju. Today, I just want to talk about, you know, I want to ask so many questions, and I would like if a lot of my audience, or a lot of the people who are watching this video, can try as much as possible to give their own experience in the comment section. I'm not going to probably, this video is not going to be long, maximum maybe 15 minutes or so. I'm out of it. I'm going to be reading a script that I got from Facebook from one of my friends on Facebook. The person happens to be a senior colleague while I was working in the media house. He was the former editor of Temple magazine. And he posted something on his page today, and I felt like probably I should share it with people and just speak briefly on it, and then people can come up with their own narrative on what they have been experiencing concerning this. Emefiele, the Buhari, this stock pill that they just gave to the whole of the country recently. So, okay, I'm going to be moving this camera a bit so as to enable me to read from the stuff. So the reading goes thus. Early this morning, someone to whom I transfer cash took my car for fueling, hoping to pay via POS. By 8 a.m., he said he had bought fuel, for which he didn't pay before it was dispensed. Payment time. The transaction failed. He was asked to make a transaction of 11,500, the worth of the fuel dispensed. An attempt was made, but network was patchy. The pump attendant said the money wasn't received and told him to wait until she got the credit alert. So he also didn't receive a debit alert from his own account. He sat in the car at about 11:50 a.m. Almost 3 hours after, he received a debit alert. The station had not and still hasn't received their own alert. He returned to the office with my car detained at the station as though it was a stolen one. What to do? Well, he brought out a piece of paper on which the station's account details were written, asking me to transfer from my account, Zenith Bank, the epitome of banking direness, live up to his billing, attempt after attempt, through all various things, error, contact Zenith Bank on SSSS, SME at all. The SME was somewhat evocative. The bank has been doing SME, which is how we describe the action of a bumbling fool. For as long as I can remember, it got worse, of course. Unable to start, let alone complete the transaction or complete the transfer. A kind-hearted colleague gave the person who went to buy fuel, without me knowing, his ATM card. Luckily, he was able to pay with it, and my car was released from detention. I shudder to think, with the driver of my car away from the station, what could have happened? Should a fire break out had occurred? Long shot, it could happen. Though on return, I told him to go to his bank to get a transaction reversal done. After all, it wasn't as though his bank, First Bank, was dancing at the erroric, and I had sprayed it 11,500 at his bank entrance. He said he meant a trunk, and he was told he did not be allowed in. A bank security offered to bring him a form to fill, took it inside and returned to tell him the reversal will take 10 working days. I want you to pay attention to all these details. So I'm going to stay brief on it. I just want to read through what he wrote. It is on this worse than mediocre online platform that Emefiele built his weird dream of cashless policy. I did have been cooked, fried even, if it was a health emergency I had. The incident rushed to implement this policy with our generally spotty network is making the whole thing look by the minute like it was conceived by a dunderhead. If I had this experience in Lagos, I wonder what is going on in Osi Ekiti, my hometown, Gusau, Anara or Adonte, the last two in Imo and Delta State respectively, are going through. Being agrarian communities, resident and indigenous most likely trade in perishable items. I wonder how they did deal with the losses. Of course, Emefiele and Buhari, they took speaking maestro. Think those monetary policy bollocks matter to farmers and hunters who produce more than they can reasonably consume. Back to the matter. Buhari promised to evacuate the sheet of cash scarcity in 7 days. Of course, it didn't happen. He returned a few days ago without as much as an explanation why the promise was not kept, with false sympathy of understanding the hardship we are going through. You know. So the other one are just not relevant. Emefiele head like grinding stone and face like a well-kept grave has shown as much sympathy as a hangman. So that is what I read today on his Facebook page. So I want to speak about it. It touches on, though he's an editor, so he writes a lot, and he often loves to humor his readers. But the truth is just that you know there are some things he mentioned here which I want to touch on. Number one is the fact that an average Nigerian have to go to a filling station now. There is nothing as precious as time. And if the president or the policymaker have decided to probably waste a lot of Nigerians' time, then we need to start questioning their logic. If they have any anyway. Because for someone to go to a filling station around 8 and get stuck there till 11:50 a.m., 3 hours later, just to probably confirm. Number one, the question now is Emefiele aware that we have a patchy network in Nigeria? Our network is not as strong as it should be, and a lot of implementation, a lot of technologies that ought to have been put in place to enable us go through all this cashless policy had not even exist here in Nigeria, not to now talk of being put in place. You understand? So I'm just wondering, where all these shenanigans came from. Who put up this idea? Recently, I can't recall how many times a lot of people out there have been suffering from transferring credits or money from one bank account to another. It has been hell. Do you understand? At the comment section, I want you to probably give your own perspective about this whole cashless trap that they claim to have enforced on the citizens without having. If that this is the way other countries have been doing it, I'm sure they will have been doomed. But for us to probably live in the most populous black country in the world and the supposed arguably one of the richest country in Africa, and yet we are facing all this kind of wrath from our policymaker. A question the citizens' integrity, a question the citizens' way of reasoning. To have elected people like this to probably govern such a complex country. You understand? So a whole lot of people have been going through a lot. Transferring money from one point to another has become difficult. A lot of people have had to resort back to this online platform, such as the Raven, Kudas, OPay, Pam Pay or whatever. But it calls for question because we've seen the way a lot of people have also eloped with the money of many, by though all those online platform is easier from experience, according to what I've heard, even from my own personal experience too. I use Raven, for instance. I can easily transfer money from my Raven to another and it goes swiftly. But what is the guarantee that Raven and its people, or Pampay or OP or whatever, won't just mop up our money one day and then loop? So a lot of people have been going through all the. So If this is the case, does that mean that every Nigerians who wants to go and get fuel and they have to deal with transfer because of lack of cash or limited cash they have? Does that mean that they have to go through all this pain on a daily basis? Is that what they are trying to do? So who are the people making our policies? Do they think somehow, or are these things just being done deliberately just to, I was speaking to a friend today. I was telling him that even Nigerians ordinarily before we are suffering. A lot of people don't have good job, they don't have good pay. Even the ones who have good job doesn't have good pay. So we don't even have the money in the first place. So the little one we don't even have, for us to get it now has even become more trouble. So I don't know how they expect us to survive. I was telling my friend that the fact that we are not all on the street, you know, disrupting the whole peace of the nation. As far as I'm concerned, it shows how unlimited our tolerance is. That they can keep pushing us here and there, and then we just fold our arms and continue to endure. So I will end with this description. Someone once described Nigeria this way. Say, when you're chasing a goat or a dog or something, or even a person, and it reaches the end point, maybe there is a wall, there is a barricade, the person will have to turn back to face uh, whatever thing that is, will have to turn back to face his nemesis or its nemesis. But in the case of Nigeria, I think what happens to us is that whenever they chase us to and we get to a barricade or to a wall, we oftentimes break through that wall and still keep running. So it has always been our lifestyle, you know. But the truth is just that people goes to bank. A lot of people have been complaining. My wife was telling me today, we were discussing, she said something that a lot of money are going to be mixing. This recently, for the past weeks, a lot of people have been sending money that have been hanging here and there. It's as if all the banks and all their technology have even stopped working. So the question is, how many people will have to lose their money? And let's say I have 20,000 naira and I want to buy something of 20,000 naira or 15,000 naira or even 18,000 naira, and my money gets stopped, and I had to go to the bank, and I was told and I was informed that I have to wait for 10 working whole days. Does that mean, I'm stuck? That means I won't be able to achieve what I intend to use the money to buy in the first place. So I don't know who is making all this policy, but this is just a wake up call for us. We are going to be having our election in the next. Today is Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 4 days time now, we're going to be having our election. If you're watching this video before then, I just hope that you could probably make use of your PVC in the right way, and not just vote for all the people who have descended so low and thought of us even below animal level to have put us into this position. And I hate when people come up with all this ideology that don't you know they are going to be the one to win. No. If every Nigerian decides to say no to impunity, no to nepotism, no to monarchy politics, where someone feels that they are the owner of an entity, then perhaps we could have the change with all this. But if you choose to probably do the same thing you have all been doing, even the most educated one, even the semi-educated one, even the just educated set of people in Nigeria, if all you could come up with is to tell yourself that, this is the person you are voting, not because that person has a good agenda, just because you felt like, okay, you belong to one party or another. Well, we are going to be in it together. What I can tell you is that if you don't use your sense this time around, I can bet you we just started suffering. So this is just what I want to share tonight on this page. That people have to go through this hell on a daily basis just because we are trying to push a cashless society whereby we are not equipped for it yet. It's kind of bizarre, but I just hope that after this whole election, like people have been suggesting, this whole charade will have to die down, will pipe down, and then things will start getting back to the abnormal, the previous abnormal, because I can't say things will start getting back to normal naturally before, even without any trouble, any more trouble coming up. Nigerians have always been in abnormality, a whole lot of abnormalities around. So to have compound abnormalities upon abnormalities means that it's like stress backing up stress. That's what they've been doing to us. So maybe we are going to go back to the previous abnormalities, the way we used to be, and then we'll see how we can start lifting all these abnormalities one after the other as time, elapse. So my name remains Adeyanju, and you are watching Future ABC Media Online TV. As I said earlier, please subscribe to my station, like this video, and most importantly, I want you to give your comment. I want you to probably write at the comment section your own experience. Let's know. I might even probably do a whole lot of video reading all the experiences of everyone who take their time to probably comment or write their experience at the comment section. Until we meet next time, do take care and keep enjoying Nigeria for what it is.